So let's talk about some basic terminology. First off, a master budget is a set of interrelated budgets. It's in essence the master plan for the organization for the coming time period. However, it covers multiple time horizons. Again, something as short as a month or even a week, as well as quarterly and annual budgets can be created by firms. And of course, we can create a budget for the long term as well, perhaps the next 5 or 10 years. The time horizons that we'll be referring to, we'll use the following labels. Short term is 1 year. Intermediate term is thinking about things 1 to 3 years out. And the long term is those events beyond 3 years. Continuing our discussion of basic terminology, let's talk about a capital budget. A capital budget addresses acquisition and management of capital assets or larger investments that are made by the firm. It focuses on the long-term operations and strategic goals of the organization. Also, we should talk about some starting points for budgeting. Zero-based budgeting requires developing next period's budget from scratch. Basically, it signals a situation where past events are no longer applicable. Something has changed about the environment or the organization itself, and the managers start with zero as far as their budgets and develop from there. Incremental budgeting relies heavily on the previous period's budget, or the actual outcomes that they incurred in the previous year or quarter, and then adjust those for things that they are aware of that are a little bit different in the coming period. In terms of thinking about a framework for budget, usually budgets start at the sales level. That's usually the driver for the overall master plan that the firm develops. The sales budget ultimately allows the firm to create the production budget. However many units or hours of service the company plans to sell creates the need to produce those units. The production budget is broken down into several components. In a manufacturing environment, we can think about a materials budget, a labor budget, and of course the overhead budget. Sales also drives other forms of costs, selling costs such as commissions and shipping, as well as other supportive roles inside the organization, which we refer to generically as administrative or general costs. There's a separate budget for those as well, and those are usually driven by the level of sales that the company plans. Together, the production budget and its components, as well as the selling and administrative budget, compile into the budgeted income statement. The budgeted income statement is a pro forma financial statement that allows the firm to see how well it plans to do in the coming year from a financial perspective. There are also long-term investments that can be budgeted, and generically that's referred to as the capital investments or capital expenditures budget. Together with the budgeted income statement, the firm creates the cash budget, which speaks to the financing needs of the firm for the coming period. As you can see, the master plan of the organization is quite varied. We cover all facets of the firm. And of course, the cash budget can be used to create other pro forma financial statements, such as the statement of cash flows, as well as the balance sheet. Ultimately, we'll be speaking to the operations, financing, and capital expenditure budgets in this module.